Prime Ego is the first ever TCG where you are the card. Every single card in this game is a real person who's a member of our community, which you are now a part of too. Obviously, that's the coolest part of our game. Or is it? This game has lots of familiar TCG mechanics like these, but there's also a mechanic that you have never seen in a TCG before. By the end of this video, you'll know how to print the game at home for free, how to play, and how you yourself can be part of the game. And maybe you're already part of it. At the top of the card is your name and your cost. Cost is how much fuel you will have to exhaust to put this card into play. Beneath that, some cards have an attribute. Tom is ready, so he comes into the game ready to play, while other cards come into play exhausted. The red is your power, green is your health, the center word is your ability trigger. And beneath that is your ability. There is also your type, which is what platform we connected your name to. So if you're subscribed on YouTube, on the Discord, on Patreon, you could have 3 different cards, or even more, which we'll explain later. A deck consists of 30 cards, and you can have 2 copies of a card in each deck. You also have up to 3 cost of starters, which cannot be copied from your deck, and 1 Prime Ego. That's the really cool game mechanic that you've never seen before, and we'll talk about that soon. After creating your deck, you and your opponent decide who goes first by seeing who was the last person to like one of our videos. Or you can just flip a coin. Both players place their decks and Prime Ego to the side of the play area, and place their starters in any of their front 3 spaces. Each player has 6 spaces they can play into. Player 1 cannot attack on their first turn. So how does a turn even work? There's 3 phases: refresh, draw, and action. We will talk about the refresh phase last. In the draw phase, you draw 1 card. Then you can choose to place one of your cards in hand into the fuel gauge, and this would allow you to draw an additional card. So in the draw phase, you could draw up to 2 cards and fuel 1. Now the action phase is where you can play your cards, attack other cards, and trigger lots of different abilities. To play a card, exhaust fuel up to the cost that that card is. So if I wanted to play this 3 cost card, I would need 3 cards in my fuel gauge and have to exhaust all 3. Cards are put into play exhausted, unless they have the ready tag. To attack, you exhaust a card and deal its power to another card's HP, as long as that card is only 1 row away. So any card in your front row can hit any card in your opponent's front row, unless you have the range attribute, which allows you to go 1 row further. Cards must fully lose their HP in 1 phase in order to be discarded. Otherwise, they fully heal at the beginning of your opponent's turn. In the action phase, you can also swap the position of 2 of your cards. You can even swap a card into an empty space. This would trigger any swapped abilities that those cards have, but it would also exhaust both of the cards that swapped. So it's a little risky, but you would want to do this if you want to defend one of your cards that went into the front row. And that's especially important because on your opponent's refresh phase, any cards of yours that are in the back row with no card in front of them automatically get pushed to the front row. Speaking of the refresh phase, in this phase, it's very simple. Just refresh any of your exhausted cards, whether that be cards in play or cards in your fuel gauge. This would also trigger any refresh abilities on cards. There are lots of different ability triggers, and they're all explained in the rule sheet in the description below. You can get it from our Patreon for free. Our Patreon has lots of things, and for just $5, you can get access to all of our games and the entire core set of Prime Ego, which is 72 unique cards. And before I explain the most unique and coolest part of our game, make sure to like, hype, subscribe, and leave a comment of the coolest ability you can think of for this game. Now, how do you even win? Destroying every enemy card in play forces your turn to come to an end. Then, on your opponent's turn, before they refresh any of their fuel, they must be able to put their Prime Ego into play. If they cannot exhaust enough fuel to put them into play, then you win. But if they can, then the new goal is to destroy their Prime Ego. Once you do that, you win. Now, the coolest part. What is this Prime Ego? Because every card in this game is based off of you, we wanted to make sure that your card felt as special as possible. This took a lot of thinking and a lot of balancing. The Prime Ego is placed on the side of the play area, and their ability can be accessed by 1 card each phase of equal cost. You can play the exact same deck of 30 cards, but pilot it completely differently depending on who your Prime Ego is. So let's say you play Tom. That deck now has way better card draw, but you could play the exact same deck as a mirror. And now all your 4-cost cards can disrupt the opponent by bringing their back row cards to the front. It makes deck building so fun and so easy to create a completely different experience with the same deck just by swapping out a Prime Ego. But now the most important part. Well, you can go to the Patreon and there's 3 different ways to pay yourself into the game, but you can also comment on any of the Prime Ego posts to get added to the free raffle. You can even comment on this YouTube video to get added to the free raffle. Actually, let's do a mini raffle right now. Next to be added to the game is Dogs and Dragons and Ito and Non-Typically 21. All sets can be downloaded from our Patreon. Those people we just named will be added to the next set called Crossworlds. You can also download the demo deck for free, but become a $5 member or higher and you get all 72 cards. So leave a comment with how much you love the game or join the Patreon and get your head in the game, literally. Later gamers, deuces.